Okay, cool. Let me hit record. So here's what you all have access to right now. This is your public profile. This is what it looks like. If you do not know how to access this, when you log into your account, just click on the upper right hand corner and click your public profile. If you're one of our legacy users and you've been with us for a long time, you probably want to go to your account settings and make sure your profile is turned on to public. So if you go to account settings and go all the way to the bottom, if this is toggled to private, when you go to click on your profile, it won't show up. So if you click on it and it's not working, just go to your settings, make sure you turn it to public, and then when you click here, it'll be all good for you to access it. Now, let me explain why we've put this together the way we've put it together and why this is going to be so amazing and why it's literally so amazing right now. Uh, one of the biggest things that we have heard from event planners that we have spoken to is that when they're looking to book a speaker, they do a search. Now, once they find their short list of speakers, what they're having to do is jump all over the internet to find the information that's most valuable to them. Now, Dan has a wonderful website. Mark has a wonderful website. Carol has a wonderful website. But all of our websites have different unique designs to it and how it looks and how information is displayed. So, what event planners are actually doing is they're going on to websites like yours and mine and just taking screenshots and copying information of the stuff that they need. They're opening up YouTube links and Vimeo links and LinkedIn links and Instagram things to try to get all the information they need to create this kind of shortlisted portfolio to share with people. What we're doing is giving them all the information they need, plus making it easy for them to understand why you will be a good fit for them. So the first portion of this, we're making updates to this, which is going to look. We've been talking to event planners. They've been giving us feedback. It's going to look so. This looks so good, but oh my gosh, I can't wait. Anyway, just go in. We'll fix it all for you. You don't have to do anything. But this is where people can play videos and get a quick sense of who you are and get your vibe. And you can also upload images so people can get a vibe check of you. We automatically take all of your your data, and we put it into one easily display dashboard of all of your talks. Your location, where you're speaking from, your LinkedIn. By the way, you can add your website now. A lot of you may not realize this. If you go to your settings, you can add a link to your website if you'd like to add that for people to get more information for you. We automatically generate this summary based on your audience's feedback. We use AI to read all of your testimonials and create this really great explanation, as well as the biggest outcomes they get, which has been huge. Event planners love that, which has been exciting. We automatically add this part for you as well, which is all of your data in one place. This is an about section where you can add your bio and add this information. So it's your job to add these pictures and videos up here, and your job to add your bio here. Then you can do what you speak on. So you can upload videos, you can upload descriptions of what you do, your key outcomes. So you can put all that in. We also have the ability for our system to generate a description for you. So we have an AI, just type in what your goals are, what you want to do. We create an example of this for you. You can edit it in case any of you are getting started and need some help or maybe looking for a refresh. So you can add videos here of your actual speaking so they can see it. We pull testimonials automatically for you from your reports, and then people can link to them. And then we have links to your recent speaking engagements. Now, you'll notice that we've added these logos here. This has been a request not only of you, the speakers, but from the event planners. People want to know, like, hey, there was only 13 people at this session. Well, that was it was a fireside chat. It was me sitting down being interviewed with a small group of people from a business group. So you can now actually add, whether you do a keynote, whether you do a workshop, whether you do a training. So this is going to be a really cool legend for any of you who are more than just keynote speakers. If you MC, if you facilitate, if you workshop training, you can add that so people will actually know what kinds of presentations you're doing. So, and all this information is here. And then folks can actually connect with you right here, get a personalized quote. So that's the overview of what the public profile is. Now, the reason why your data is going to be Your best friend moving forward is what we're currently doing right now is we're working with lots of event organizers who are going to tell us exactly what they're looking for in a speaker. On our end, which eventually we're going to make available to event planners publicly, but we're tuning this to make it really good before we release it, is use all of this data, all of your videos and pictures and data and audience feedback and your what you say about yourself and your descriptions and the outcomes of your presentations to actually match you to event organizers who want to book you. So imagine someone says, I want a charismatic speaker who is good with Greek students who don't normally want to show up to a presentation, who can turn them around and make them super interested in making better decisions and hazing, and is funny and humorous and uses cliches of his last name, right? Well, we now can say, okay, we can use all that data based on what people are saying and go, here's Dan Fail. And then we'll present them this profile so that we'll say this person matches what you're looking for and ideally give them everything that they need, apples to apples, so that they can then go, this is perfect. I want to book Dan. So we're going to be surfacing these only fully completed profiles to event organizers who are looking for speakers. And we got some cool things coming out the pipeline real soon. I'll give you a quick tease. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but we're going to be releasing this real soon. Right now, all of your feedback is based upon audience feedback. We are actually right now working on something for event planner feedback. What is it like to work with you? How easy were you to work with? Did you show up on time? Did you provide the information that they needed? Did you meet their objectives? So we literally are building this page to have everything an event organizer could possibly want in one page. You know, we've been building the event planner survey, by the way, to replicate the conversation that happens like this. I'm at a conference. I'm interested in booking Mark James. I know that somebody in my audience, like one of my colleagues, has booked Mark in the past. I tap him on the shoulder and say, "What was it like working with Mark? Like, give me the real deal. Like, how was he?" And they'll say, "Here's what he was like." We're going to be pulling that data out. So now they're going to have all in one place the information that they need, the statistics, the data, and we're going to constantly update this for you and update this for you and evolve it. So all you have to do is use Talkadot, get your data and feedback, let us know which organizations you speak to so we know what kinds of folks we should be pushing to you, and it's going to be super exciting. That's what we're building, the Airbnb of speakers here, and we have the data and the ability to do this in a unique way. Okay, so that is the overview for anyone who needed a refresher, or if anyone this was new to you. This is what we're building towards. What we cannot do for you, we can't add the pictures and videos here. We can't add the bio here, and we can't add what you speak on and videos of you speaking. So if you can do those, do them. It is going to make your life so much better. If you don't have videos, just upload your titles and your key outcomes and your descriptions. If you don't have pictures, come on, man. You got phones. If you're like, oh, I got no pictures and video, you're not trying hard enough, and I can't help you. Okay, I gotta want you to want to help yourself. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna jump into questions. If you could do me a favor and use your raise your hand feature, like Kathy just did, we're gonna go with Kathy first. If you raise your hand, which should be at the bottom of it, and Marissa, if you can help me out with the chat, because I have not been looking at the chat at all, because I've been talking. If there's anything in there, Marissa, feel free to point it out to me. And let's jump to Kathy. Go ahead, Kathy.
Okay, two questions.
Yes.
You said I could put my website where, wait, I'm gonna look at my.
Yeah. So what you want to do is go to your settings, your account settings,
Okay.
right? And then
Yeah.
where your social presence is, you can add your personal website here.
Okay, awesome. And then the other question is, I have video in there and it's great. I am just literally getting the 10 minutes of unedited video. So it's not there yet. I should be getting it any day now, but
Great.
I think my profile for your purposes is complete. One of your team reviewed it and said it seems fine, so I'm guessing it's fine, even though I don't have 10 minutes.
Yeah, if someone from the team reviewed it and gave you that, that's great. The moment you can get that, the better, because the more full it is, Because what's going to happen, the feedback we've gotten from event planners is they want to see your short video, right? So like this is my demo video, but this is also like a, like a little quick video of me speaking, right?
Right.
Now what happens is what event planners have told us is it's kind of like when they watch a movie, you watch a trailer and then you want to kind of go deeper. Maybe you want to see a scene, maybe you want to see a deeper thing before you move on. So that 10-minute, 20-minute video is because event planners are saying, if we do, if we have all the signals that they're good, I want to see what their vibe is like. I want to see them actually do something unedited because a lot of event planners have been burnt by a very good edited video, but someone comes out like, how many of us has ever seen a movie that should have looked good based on the trailer and then it didn't actually deliver on it? So edit, like we're aware of it. So the editing is where they go first. The short videos is where they go first, but that longer video is when they're in the decision making process. So that's why it's going to be super important the moment you get that to add that, because it's going to allow people to feel more trust signals for booking you. But if you have all
So,
that other stuff, this is great.
so the question is, where does that go, Errol? With that 10
Okay.
minutes, where
Yeah,
does
it
that
goes here to so if this
let
if
me
you
see?
click on this section, there should be a way for you to edit if you haven't added anything, or what you can do is go over to talks and go to
Mm-hmm.
my speech topics.
Mm-hmm.
And you can either add a new speech topic, like I speak on
Mm-hmm.
this, and
Oh,
then
okay.
when you're adding it, you basically add all this information on, your title. This is the AI generator. If you say I speak to like dentists about how to have a good practice, and then it'll create options for you. And then when you go
Okay.
to it's not gonna let me do it because of there. Let me just go to one of these. When you have your title and all of this here, when you go update and next, this is where you can upload a file of your video and
Okay.
then hit finish and then it'll go. It's a 10 gig minimum, excuse me, 10 gig maximum. So sometimes you might have to make your file a little bit smaller. There's a cool tool called Handbrake that does that, or just text Michael Pope. He knows more about tech stuff than I do. But yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome. David, what's up?
Hey, how are you? Thank you for running this session. I have three questions. One is, will you ever, or do you intend to, or is there a workaround for having a live widget pull through that will take our Talkadot data and place it in a nice, sexy window on our site
Coming.
so that we're
It's
not pulling
coming.
screen grabs all the time?
It's coming. So what we want to do first is make this profile actually as like sexy, that's not the right word, but you know what I mean, like as complete as we can. Then we do have plans to build a widget for you to place it on your website and then it'll automatically update with like your data is our vision of it here without you having to re-screenshot, and then they can click on it and go over here to see the full thing. So that is on the roadmap. We gotta nail this first before we do it.
No sweat, thank you. Next question is, when I'm down, and it's unrelated to this discussion, but when I'm downloading a testimonial, I would love to have the person's name attached to it. At the minute, the writer's name, even if they've given permission for their name to be used, isn't attached to that testimonial. Is that something that will come?
Yeah, so we are building the phases of that. So let me kind of show you what that looks like right now. So right now, when you do a report, as an example, right here on the actual report, we have the ability for it to show up. We will be building out so that when you go here and you go to download, that person's name will show up here as
Great.
well. There's some functionality, like it seems easy to just throw the text on it, but there's some big functionality database changes we have to make. So phase one is the names of people, if they give you permission to share their names, do show up on your report links. So when you share the report, it's here. Phase two, it will show up on the images.
Fantastic. Great. One final thing is I work in a lot of different countries, and so currency is tricky when it comes to tracking the fees and stuff inside. Will you provide currency support sometime?
Yeah, so that's a globalization request. We get a lot of requests for language like Spanish, uh, 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 pounds, Canadian, US, all that kind of stuff. Right now, we're definitely English based and USD based. Once we get our footing, we do want to include globalization so that currency and language gets addressed. We are not there yet for full trans. Like that will happen a lot later than a lot of these other things that you're asking, but it is on our awareness to do. Yeah.
No sweat. I love it. Really enjoying using it. Thank you.
Yeah. Where are you? What country are you based in?
I'm from Ireland, but I work everywhere. I mean, this week is Sweden, Doha, New York.
Jeez Louise. You just you
I
just
know
got you
I'm
just
basically on
created
the run.
20 you just created 20 LinkedIn requests. So people are gonna be like, I want to be that guy's friend. He's cool. All right, appreciate you. What's up, Dan?
What's happening, man? Two questions for you, my good sir. So for someone who has a few different keynotes and engagements in Talkadot, is there
Yes.
a way to do group or blocking of like, here's the 30 talks that I've done around leadership. Here's the other ones I've done around failure. And so like, can I just like select and do that?
Yeah, it's coming. So one of the things that we're going to do here is allow for a search and sort feature. So right now we're listing everything, but one of the pieces of feedback we got from event planners, which I think is very similar to yours, is I want to see like, oh, I want to see all of the orientation speeches he's done. I want to see all of the Greek speeches he's done. I want to see all of the association speeches because I want to see how he did for people like me. So
Mm.
that was a big request of event planners. So for now, no, but as we turn this into, I'm gonna test everybody's age. Do y'all remember early 2000s when people were like, go to my website and go to my MySpace page, and MySpace was kind of like where most people's content lived? Like our goal is to make this really robust, and that is one of the things that we're 100% gonna build out.
Cool. Just it's a lot. I got overwhelmed with just scrolling and looking at how many I needed to do. Like this is a keynote, this is a conference, this is so.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna do that. For now, for a lot of you, what I would encourage you to do, which will make your life and our life significantly easier, and if you need to do this in waves, do so. But if you go to your talk section here, and let's go to edit event. When you're editing, when you're creating your talk title and stuff, make sure to add your speech topic here. So just click here and then tag that. And then here, what type of talk are you delivering? Keynote, breakout. Use this tag feature. So if it was a keynote or a breakout session at a conference or a workshop, make sure to do those tags now because it's going to make our ability to sort and properly match so much easier for you. So I would go in, and if you're someone who's been with us for like 3 years and you've got like 100 presentations, maybe do like, 10 a week or 20 a week, or sit down and throw on, I don't know, what's a TV show people watch nowadays? Love on the Spectrum. I don't know what you watch nowadays, right? Throw it on and just tag stuff because this tagging is going to allow us to know, okay, this talk was rated this way. Like when I did this talk, so you can do whatever front facing title you want, but as long as you tag it to your talk and then also tag what kind of talk it is, if someone's looking for a keynote or a workshop, we're going to be able to match you more effectively. And then once we have the sort filter, we'll be able to sort all your college talks and all of your workshops and all that kind of stuff as well, but also keynote, workshop, breakout, all that kind of fun stuff.
so then building off that real quick question. So like I'll change up some of at a conference, I'll change up the title of the talk because it's better for like conferences as opposed to
Correct.
just like this is my standard keynote title, but it's really the same content. I noticed that it auto-populated when you selected the talk. Does it override?
No, it doesn't. So watch
Okay.
this. Okay. So
Okay.
see how this says unlock the power of customer loyalty here? I can change this to the secret psychology of buying, right? Whatever. Or busying. That's terrible. I can't spell. Why am I? Come on. All right. Now, this is the front facing title, but I tag it to this one here,
Okay.
right? So then when I go to update talk, this is publicly facing whatever I want it to be, but our system knows it's really that content because I'm like I change titles all the time depending upon my client, and sometimes I want to make it like customer service, so it's like the psychology of buying for nurses, the psychology of buying for, so you can do all of that public facing, but as long as you let us know like it's this one, then our system will be able to still match you just fine.
All right. I have more questions, but I'll let other people go. Appreciate you.
You get one more, go.
The videos or the 10 things that you can upload for photos or videos, I noticed that you can't link a YouTube video. So like my TEDx talks, there's no way
Yeah.
to have the talks show up in that.
Correct. One of the it's funny you said that. We're working on that. One of the things that we can't do legally is have people show TEDx videos on our website. We found that out through our lawyers. So because of that, right now our workaround, this is probably more information than any of you need. But basically you're only allowed TEDx videos to show up on YouTube or TEDx, technically, right? No one's going to go after you if you put it on your website because you're an individual. But a company like ours, if we start putting TEDx content on it, it puts us in a liability. So the reason one of, not the only reason, but one of the reasons we do file upload is because TEDx doesn't give you the file of the TEDx video. And it just keeps up, because we know so many of our speakers do have TEDx talks that most likely would link to it. And then we would get sued and then our business would go away. And these are things that are not your problem, they're our problem, but it's the reason why we don't have it and why we currently do it this way. So for now, yeah, that. Now, whatever you choose to do on your profile, that's up to you, Dan. We just can't link directly to that content.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. So much more information that you will, there's so many weird things about running a business like this that y'all will hopefully never ever have to deal with. But if anything ever seems super weird, ask. I'll probably tell you. Natasha, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing? So I actually emailed somebody about this week. I'm curious about customization for emceeing. I seem to be emceeing a lot more.
Yeah.
And it still asks, there's still some standard things that are in there. So I haven't used Talkadot. Funny enough, I'm getting so much feedback on my last emceeing on from Friday in LinkedIn. I'm like, I need to capture this somewhere. I need to get, like, I'm just getting great feedback, which is good. But I'm like, I would love to be able to use Talkadot
Yeah.
for emceeing.
Tell
And
me what is the deal breaker right now?
well, I think it just might throw people off just in some of the stuff about, how was my talk, or, I can't even remember what the others two that were. I think there's two or
Couple
three
of
that are
things. I'm gonna let you finish your
standard in.
question, but just a couple of things to help. If there's ever a question that you don't like, you can always hide the question. And you could hide all of the questions and then add your own question like this one and then call it whatever you want to do it. How was my seeing today?
Okay, and that's why I'm here today.
Yeah. So if there's anything that you're like, hey, that doesn't seem right or I don't like it, you can add a question and you can create your own. We do keep a couple of questions what are called system generated. So was this valuable? And the reason why we have that valuable talk is that's part of the matching that's going to happen on the profile. So like,
Right.
how valuable are you to your audience? And then if you had to describe this, which looks like this, if you had to describe this to a friend or colleague, what would you say? So hopefully the audience will infer enough on this. We try to use language that was broad enough to encapsulate everything, but everything else you can hide, edit, and change so that you're getting the information you need. But we need these answers to match you. The other thing I'll say, and then I'm gonna let you continue. I know I jumped in. When you do an MC, when you go to the edit event and you're creating your title and your organization, just make sure to choose MC right here. So we know that that was an MC event so that when people are looking for MCs, we know to surface you. Okay, sorry, I jumped
Okay.
in. I apologize. Continue.
No worries. The thing is, I haven't used Talkadot yet for emceeing because I wasn't sure, but now I know what I can do, and I might retroactively do this and send it to a few people. And I mean, I'm so impressed by all the stuff you're already saying you're doing. Just any tips for, because I'm also curious, because I'm a comedian, how I could use this for comedy, because that's something I'm not doing right now.
Yeah, we're primarily speaking, not like stand up, like I'm gonna do 5 minutes. Like by all means, if you want to use this for comedy, to like do it. The thing is, I'm a big fan of a Kennedy quote, which was, do you have to be funny to be a professional speaker? No, only if you want to get paid. So being able to be funny as a speaker is a great way to get to
Give it-
that. So if you want to test this out or use this, you again change and edit the questions so that it feels a little bit more comedic based. And if you want to give it a try, do so. But we're for sure on the MC speaker workshop. That's what we do.
Okay.
One other thing that you should be aware of that I mentioned is we're going to be releasing very, very soon that event planner survey that I had mentioned. So that's a perfect one to send retroactively to past clients who've hired you as an MC and say, please let me know what you thought about me as an MC. And then you can start getting that data, because sometimes getting audience members to fill it out, it's just hard to get them to fill it out like later, but event planners, it's a little easier.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Natasha. Hey, Sammy.
Hi. So I have two areas for questions. One of
Yes.
them is about distinguishing the drop downs. So I'd love to hear a little bit of your own thoughts regarding distinguishing like workshops versus trainings.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, yeah.
so that one first, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. And hold on, let me that actually was just a discussion because someone else said, what's the difference? So we're like, let's create a document. And we created the document, and here it is. Boop, doop, boop, doop. So we're going to be publishing this in the community shortly so that you can all see it. But these are all of the drop downs. Here's the distinctions between them. Okay. So
Mhm.
keynote is you're the main speaker at an event. A
Okay.
breakout is you're leading a smaller conference session. So you're not the main stage speaker. It's happening concurrently at a conference. A workshop is a guided hands-on session, usually with activities to build practical skills, and usually it falls under the 2 hour mark, right? Usually. Where the training is very similar to a workshop, but it's longer. It's usually 2+ hours. So if I'm working with people for 4 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours, that's more of a training than a workshop. Panel is you're on stage with multiple people being asked questions. A fireside chat, uh, you know, I got some of these notes here. Hold on, let me. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So fireside chat is you're on stage being interviewed in a very casual, kind of sitting in a couch, just kind of shooting the breeze and being talked about what your skill set. A
Mhm.
round table is when you're kind of the head of a table and people are sitting there asking questions and you're answering, but also facilitating a conversation between people. Also, a round table facilitator sometimes goes out and goes to multiple tables at once to facilitate a conversation or answer questions. And facilitation is more like a retreat where your job is to solve problems through questions and collaboration. So you're not really asked like doing a keynote or a workshop. You're there more to be like, what's the biggest problem we should be solving? What's happening in
Mhm.
the organization that's holding you? Like your job is to facilitate the results for your members. MC is when you're doing a hosting job, introducing speakers, keeping the event engaging, keeping it on track. And an interview is when it's more of a structured Q&A as an expert, focusing on your insights. So there's specific questions and it's a little bit more formal than a fireside chat, which is typically more informal. And then a moderator is when you're the person. So the panel is when you're being asked the questions on the panel. The
Mhm.
moderator is when you're the person asking the questions to the people on the panel. Uh,
Okay.
we will publish this, and we will also add probably some tool tips when you're collecting it, but that's kind of the gist.
Yeah. My second question then is I'm going to be on a panel sometime in June, and I was curious how to tee up Talkadot when you're on a panel because like how does that differentiate from like, oh, they're going to give feedback about the entire panel? How do you tee it up that it's about you? How do you do that when like there's other folks or maybe the organization wants to use their own type of feedback?
Yeah, it's great questions. First question I have back for you is this all discussion or is there a screen at all involved behind you?
This would be a
It's
virtual
virtual.
panel.
Yeah, perfect. So if it's a virtual panel, what I would do is go to whatever code that you're
Mhm.
using for the virtual panel, click on these three dots for that code and go to copy code link right here.
Okay.
And this will give a direct link to whatever specific piece of feedback that you want to give. And it looks like, let me just change this so nobody actually clicks and messes up my
Yeah.
deck.
And for example, like toward the end, I can say, hey, if you want to stay in communication with me, if you'd like this PDF about XYZ, share
That's right.
feedback on the. Okay. So
That's right.
what might that
So
look like in person then? Because that is kind of tricky.
yeah, so again, virtually you nailed it. So it's like, hey everyone,
Okay.
I know we're doing a great discussion on communication skills. I want to give you something, and I'd love to know what you thought about my portion on the panel. Click the link in the chat to do so.
Okay.
If it is a verbal panel, when I say verbal panel, meaning there's no screen access, it's just chairs, then what you want to do is say, hey, towards the end, before we wrap up, so I'm going to imagine I'm on a panel, okay? Before we wrap up, like there's so much more good stuff that, a panel like this brought up. Here's what I'd like to do for everyone. If you could quickly pull out your phones, or everyone take out your phones, type into your phone, into your browser, talk.ac, talk.ac/arel, AREL. So if you type in talk.ac/arel, so if you put that into your browser, and I like to repeat it at least 3 times as a side note, talk.ac/arel, and just put in the code talk or whatever is the name of your code, like loyalty. If you just put in a code loyalty, let me know what you thought about this. And as a thank you, I'm going to send you this resource that's going to help continue the conversation. So I just wanted to make sure everyone had access to that before we go into the final questions. So, or if somebody asks a question that I know is deeply answered in that resource that I'm going to provide for them, I'll say, you know what? That's a great question. I'm going to answer it as best I can here, but it's really a good question that I go into depth. In fact, I'm going to give everyone a resource before I answer the question. Do me a favor, take out your phones, go to talk.ac/arel. That's talk.ac/arel. Let me know what you thought about this at the end, and I'm going to give you access to a full thing that's going to tell you more about this. But for now, the most important thing I could tell you is, but. Now, keep in mind, on a panel, you can't do the whole take 2 minutes, let someone fill it out, and then move on. It's not appropriate. So you'll get a lower response rate, but I've done that on panels and it's worked really well. And it's all about the value add. It's about here's what you'll get, let me get your thoughts. And then the people who are interested, they'll do it.
Okay, that's super valuable. Thank you so much.
No one click on that link. That was just an explanation. Someone in the thing said it's not. That's just a dummy link. That's not real. But if geez Louise, if y'all wanted to just click on this copy code link and then paste. I don't want to give you, because then y'all gonna feed it and then give me weird feedback, because this is my actual Talkadot account. But anyway, hopefully, Sammy, that was helpful. I got distracted. Okay, great. Cool. Scott, what's up?
Hey man, it's good to be here today. Thanks for all you're telling us. This is really great. So I am a author with a brand new book, and
Yeah.
I want to know where my book is going to go up here because I want every meeting planner to know I've got a book that their audience is dying to have as I do my presentation.
Scott, you gonna make me show you something I wasn't supposed to show you because it's not fully ready yet.
Oh, come on, you're always ready. You're the man. You're
No,
ready.
we're not. It's not. Oh, gosh. All right, I'll give you a sneak peek. I'm not gonna.
All of us are authors. Everybody's got books.
I'm gonna give you a sneak peek. I'm not. This isn't ready yet. This isn't ready yet. Hold on. No.
So should I put it up in some of these pictures that
No.
you're saying
For
going to?
now. For now. Okay. Anyway, all right. I'll just show you this. This will be quick. Let me go to mine. Bossy, are you there? Did she leave?
I think she left, Earl.
He left. All right, whatever. I love Bossy. She should be fine with me showing. We mocked up something. Anyway, so yes, you can put it, but one of the things that we're going to be adding to the profile is opportunities for you to actually put your book here. And one of the things that we're also going to be playing with is, let me just skip. I don't want you to see it all because it's not fully finished yet. And I want to surprise you. But one of the things we're going to be adding as well is this section right here, which is frequently asked questions. So for example, does he have a book? Yes, I do have a book. Can we buy books if we? So there's going to be opportunities for you to integrate things like your book into the profile as well. And then for the opportunity for people to know, for example, hey, not only can you book Scott to speak, but he's willing to do a autograph signing session, and you can bulk order, because surprisingly, for all of you who don't know this, almost every event planner we talked to said that they very much would love to buy books for all of their attendees, and they just need to know that the book's available, and they would buy it. And then they want to know, because they actually think it's a burden to ask us to like sign books and do photographs and I'm like, no, that's like celebrities. We want to do this stuff.
And they have a separate budget for books.
Exactly. So it's a value add for them. So when I said we have the new profile, it's gonna look so sweet. I just gave you a little sneak peek of it because what we're doing right now is we're showcasing it to speak to event planners. To does it give them what they want? Do we need to change it? Like so, for example, the book right now is a link. Is that how they prefer it to be displayed? Do they want it displayed in a different way? So once we get that figured out, but you will be able to incorporate things ideally like articles you've written, podcasts that you've been on, books you've been, because we want to give them everything they need in one place, and that is one of them that we're going to be.
That's awesome. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, you almost got me to show you the whole brand new. Trust me, this is like I'm showing y'all like the iPhone 16 right now with this, but we're working on the iPhone 20 today. Okay, I just like it takes time to build stuff, but I'm very excited. I'm more excited about it than I should be. I feel like a child because I'm gonna be like, ooh, it's gonna be so cool. But anyway, um, Swartzen, what's up, brother?
Hey, Ralph.
How you doing,
Hey, I
man?
just had a. I'm good, man. I had a question. Well, thank you
Is
for
the
the.
question about how the Knicks gonna come back from this Indiana Pacers beating? Is this what we're gonna
No,
talk about real
listen,
quick?
man. We're not gonna
Because I'm
talk about it.
feeling it right now.
We still in our feelings a little bit, man. A lot of it, but
Jeez Louise.
you
Anyway,
know,
go ahead,
we're
brother.
gonna come back to that. You know, Knicks is 7. It's all right. Um,
Doesn't sound as good as Knicks and 6, but I'll take it.
I know it doesn't.
What's up, brother?
Well, thank you for the panel. Because I had a panel tomorrow. It's someone I spoke to last time, about 20 students, 18 to 24. But I didn't get a Talkadot thing because I didn't know how to tee it up. They don't have a projector. And I want to ask you a question as far as best practice for the new features. Because my consistency kind of like or matured or sharpened it in the last 2 years. Should I go back and change some of the titles because they don't necessarily match my current branding like consistency? So would it be
If
behoove me
if
say
your
a
past
2023 talk here?
if your past topics align with like so for example I used to call one of my speeches creating the ultimate work environment, right? Like that's the title of it, but then I changed it to unlocking the power of your people. It's the same talk, but I realized that that title resonated better than the creating the ultimate work environment. So if it's something like, hey, I'm changing the wrapping paper but the gift is the same, then yeah, I would go back. And what I would do in that case, like you don't have to change the title of them, but what I would do is like go back into the deep, like I'm gonna go back into my like 2022 talks, right? Like so like way back in the day, and just go to edit. And then you don't have to change the title, but when you go to add your speech topic, just choose the topic that most is connected to that content, and then our system will know no matter what this title is what the content actually is about. So I would just do that and you'll be fine.
Okay, thank you. That helps a lot. I guess I have
Okay.
one more question. Just when it comes to
Yeah, please.
students, in that space, like so we have an 18 and under. Obviously, I'm in student success space, so some stuff from
Yeah.
my students are under 18. Would it be wise to kind of of them that's under 18? Do I still connect to the same topic, even though the topic's for adults?
Ask that question one more time. I'm not sure if I grasped it. Is it that it's the
If
same
if the
presentation given to students that you would give to adults, but it's modified? Tell me
correct?
what you're saying. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
Um,
Do
what
I
I would
connect it to
do,
the same topic? Mhm.
no, what I would do is I would create two different talks, right? So for example, if you're doing you know, I'm making it up, right? Leading from a place of love, right? But I have leading from a place of love for students and I have leading from a place of love for administrators, right? So it's the same topic, but your audience is very different. No, wait, I'm editing myself as I'm saying it. Okay, here's what you do. I got it. I got it. I'm glad you're asking. That's a very good question. Here's what I would do. When you go to your My Speech topics, okay? I would create one of these called for students, right? And when you go into when you're creating your speech topic, you can actually choose who your audience is here, right? So if it's for professionals or associations, like the staff, for example, like I'm speaking to like administrators, I would choose that. And for students, actually, man, you know what? I'm editing myself as I'm saying. This is actually a really good use case. Schwartz, I'm really glad you brought this up, because right now we have K through 12, but you could be K through 12 for the students and K through 12 for the, and ooh, this is a good situation. Okay, here's what I would do. I'm re-editing myself. I would make a speech topic. One of these is for students, and one of these is for educators, right? It might be the exact same information, but maybe your title in parentheses has the word student here. And then you create a second one that says staff or administrators or teachers. And then when you go to tag them, if it's a student talk, tag them to the one that says student. And if it's a staff talk, tag them to the one that in your title has the word staff. Because then what our system will be able to do is that these talks are student-based talks and these talks are administration. So even though it's the same content, you want to create two different presentations within your speech topics.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense. Thank
No,
you.
that was a great question. That's a really, like, this is why I love talking to folks like you, because these use cases help me think through things that need to be thought through. So thank you for asking that question. Okay, cool. Ken Miller,
In the house.
aka I bench press, aka I bench press more than you do, no matter how old you are.
You wish, you wish. Anyway, it's great to see you. You're killing
Same.
it, bro. You're killing it.
Thank
And
you,
I'm
brother.
just so proud of what you've accomplished. I'm just looking at this as being a one-stop shop at some point. So a couple observations and things that I'm looking for. Um, is there an area that we can put our offers? So let's say we have a synopsis, let's say we have a white paper, something that you will get as an offer if you sign up. Is there an area we can upload that? And then when they do the Talkadot, it'll automatically be sent to them if they click that box or whatever. So anyway, an area
So the way that works is you go to the code section, right? So whenever you create your new code, so let's say you're doing a speech for how to raise $1 million in a month for a nonprofit, right? And you call it like raise. Okay. So when you go to create, you can go to simple or advanced. Simple is the quick creation. I'll just show you advanced just so you can see it. Create your code. So we'll just make it raise. And then you can go through all these questions to edit them. But what you really care about is question number 17. So I'm just going to click on all questions, go to 17. And this is where you can either A, upload a file. So if it's a file you want to give away, if it's a link, you click on the second radio button here and you just paste the link. If you have nothing to give away, you would click nothing. But when you're creating your code, this on step 17 of all questions is where you upload it. And once you upload it there, our system, every time someone uses the code RAISE, they'll automatically get it at the end of their survey. And as long as you have this turned on, which I highly recommend all people do, which is lead follow-up, as long as these are all toggled to on by hitting that button, they'll also get it emailed to them directly. There's no other step you need to take. Our system knows exactly what to do. You don't have to change it, or you don't have to create a survey or a new code every time you do that talk. Create the code once, upload it once, and we'll present it at the end of every survey and then email it to everyone as well.
Sweet. Next one. And I appreciate that. I didn't know that was deep in there. When we do our book, once you do the book section, can you add, or if it's already there, that's great, a one paragraph, two paragraph book excerpt or section of the book so they have an idea of the
That's what we are
tone of the
figuring
book?
out right now.
Okay,
So
huge.
what we're doing right now with event planners is figuring out what is the best way to display the information, because there's a constant pull between it's called flow state, right? Just enough, but not too much,
Yeah.
right? Because so when something gets overwhelming, people nope out. When something's easy, so what we're figuring out right now, that's why, like, I technically shouldn't have showed it to you, but I showed you where we are right now. We want to introduce the idea, but we want to introduce it in a way based on what event planners tell us of, here's how we want to consume it. And once we figure that out, and we're doing that process actively right now, however we do it, whether it's a blurb or whether it's a link or whether it's a folder, like an accordion folder that drops down that allows you to do that. There will be an opportunity there. The easiest thing that you'll most likely be able to do is in the FAQ section that we currently don't have that I mentioned we're going to add. You could say, what is Ken's book about as an example, and then describe it. So we're trying to figure out what's the best way. But your feedback and event planner feedback will eventually guide the way we do that.
Okay, just a couple more quick ones.
Yeah.
One, is there a possibility to have a percent filled out of a complete profile, like a 100% complete, and there is a some idea of how far along we are? I've worked with a lot of sites, and that it's sometimes
Like
for
on
me
top
real
of the
tough.
profile, like you are 50%.
Yes,
Yeah. That's a
yes,
great piece of Marissa. If you could, Marissa's here.
I
If you could take,
love it.
yeah,
It lets me
if you
know.
could take a note of that, I think that's a great piece of feedback for us to consider to make sure that there's not anything you're accidentally missing and you know how to do it. So I think
Beautiful.
that's great.
That one was free, Arel.
Yeah,
And
appreciate
then,
it.
and another one, and I'll just throw this one out. If there was an opportunity that we could pay for someone to do our profile, and it just time wise, sometimes it's easier for me to give somebody 200, $500 and
Yeah.
done really well. Just a thought. And then the last one, if there was a way that you could set up, and it's something down the line, something like Insta headshots, upload 5 and we'll give you some AI generate. All my headshots are
Oh
AI
yeah.
generated,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's beautiful. So I
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
headshot, but just that's way in the back. But
Yeah, it's
that would be nice.
we actually had a conversation about, like, I love
Okay.
every single one of y'all. A lot of y'all photos.
Hmm.
Not a lot. Some of your people's photos looks like you took it in a dark room with an iPhone calculator, like a Texas calculator. So one of the things we're trying to figure out, like that's not going to be anytime soon because we have like bigger fish to fry. But one of the things we want to figure out is whether we can upscale photos, AI, and just make it so that if you upload something and the intent is there, we can still get the intent from it. So it's on our radar, but it's nothing that I would hold your breath for at this like iPhone 4 to iPhone 5 phase, if you will.
Hey Ken, really quickly, if I can jump in, I'm here, but I was multitasking. Do you mind repeating what it was that you had asked for, just so I can take it?
It was a percentage of completion of the profile. So
Got it.
as someone's creating, like someone asked the question, how do I know if my profile is complete? So we would have a percentage on the top of the profile that would say it's 45% complete. Click here to get to, 6 out of
Perfect.
7. It's a good idea. So I think we should.
Awesome. Thank you. I
Yeah.
got it down. And Ken, also, if you want to reach out to hello@talkadot.com, I can definitely help you with your profile.
Yeah, and by the way, like Ken, like just reach out. Like it's super important for us. So like we can hook you up and grab bios and pictures and Marissa is amazing. She's here for y'all. She's amazing. So many of y'all don't even realize how Marissa just be she be thugging it out. She be thugging it out, getting it done for y'all. So shout out to you, Marissa. All right, let's go Julie, then Brian, and then I have some questions in the chat that I will get to next. So I got you in the chat. If you put a question in the chat, thank you, Marissa, for collecting those for me. I'm gonna get those, but we're gonna go Julie, Brian, and then chat.
Okay. Hi, Rel. I have 3 quick questions. One, I looked under the talk type and I didn't see one that said lecture. I do a lot of lecturing at colleges and universities. Could that be an option? Because that is when I donate my time to colleges and universities.
The lecture is a wait, hold on. You said it's a donation of your time?
Yeah, I do it pro bono to local colleges and universities.
Yeah. I would choose Keynote for that option. And the only
Okay.
reason why I would choose Keynote and not lecture is ideally our goal is to be a platform for, I don't know what the opposite of pro bono is. Paid
Yeah,
bono?
no, I get that, but it's
Yeah.
so there's some big colleges and universities there that I'd like.
No, for sure.
And
I would just choose
highlight.
for now. I would choose Keynote, and then I'll see if it. I have to think about that one a little bit more.
Okay.
But for now, choose Keynote.
My second question is around the SEO. How are event planners finding these
Oh my gosh.
profiles? Like,
Great
and
question.
what can we do in our profiles to boost up potentially what the keywords that event planners are looking for so that our profiles boost up? And then my final question is, is there a way to search everybody else's profiles so we can sort of see what other speakers are doing on their profiles?
Great question. I'm so glad you asked that question. So right now, all of you should realize that if you type in Julie Brown or you type in Ken Miller, your Talkadot profile does not show up. That is actually very intentional right now. The reason why it intentionally doesn't show up is because we are currently in a space where we're trying to get as many of our users to fill out their profile as possible. Because having you with discoverability to a profile that looks like a desert is actually hurtful. We have some incredible plans for SEO that we can do that are so exciting. I can't even begin to get into it. And here's the best part of it, Julie. You don't have to do anything about it. We're going to be able to infer from your talk titles, from your audiences, from your testimonials, from your data. We're going to be doing so many cool different things to allow folks looking for you to search for it. Eventually, too, there will be a portal where people will be able to type in ideally a natural language search. So imagine if someone explained exactly the type of speaker that you are. They could do that because normally it's a filtering process. Like, what's the topic? What's the fee? What's the location? And then it filters. What we can move now, because it exists and it didn't exist before, is natural language matching. And that's why your talk titles, your key outcomes, your descriptions are so important. So if there was an area I would make sure you're not like skimping on, it's your about section, and it's your talk titles, descriptions, outcomes, and the video as well. But the SEO game, like the programmatic SEO with the amount of talks people give, the amount of testimonials people give, like it's going to be super cool. We're just purposely not doing that right now because if someone went to a profile that was not filled out, they have a bad first impression. It's really hard to make another first impression. So we're going to turn that on once we go through this current phase that we're in. But it's a
So
very,
our
very
profiles aren't live yet. We can't share them.
no, you 100% can share them. They're just
Okay.
not discoverable. So I
Okay.
can go to this link right here. I can, and then if I open up an incognito window, I can share this link with a client. I can share
Okay.
this link on social media, and all of my data, all my info still populates. It's just the SEO discoverability. What we're doing, to answer your second question, is we're currently working with event planners and event planner networks who are looking for speakers and having them tell us what they want. And then we're doing the internal search, which we can do. And our goal is to fine tune that natural language model. So it's basically, it's machine learning, which is outside the scope of what I'm sure anyone's interested in. But basically we have to make sure that what we're surfacing up actually is matching what our clients are looking for, the event planners. And we don't want to do that publicly yet because it's not fine tuned. So we're fine tuning it right now based on what they're telling us in our internal databases. And once we feel like it's fine tuned enough to go public, we will create a way for people to do a search and find people publicly. But that doesn't exist right now. But you are all trailblazers and with us at the beginning, so you'll see it as it develops.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Julie. All right, Brian, chat questions, then Diane.
Mr. Moody, how you doing today?
What's up, brother?
Want to thank you for answering those questions. I was the one that posted the other week asking what was the difference between the presentations and the keynotes and stuff. So I'll be glad when you when you put that information. The referrals. I'm sorry. Yeah, the like when people say they're interested in the leads and things like that.
Yes.
What is the best steps? I know that I know that if someone says they have a lead and a hot lead and stuff, Talkadot sends an email. But then what is the steps that I should do as a person?
Absolutely. So here is the workflow that I think works best, right? So you're going to have, every time you speak, if you get a booking lead, it's in your booking lead section. If you get a referral lead, it's in your referral lead section. The first thing that I care about are the people who are a hot lead, right? So for example, anyone with this, I'm going to drop down and this section right here is what I care about. So this person said they want to do a retreat. He has a farm in Georgia. Okay, great. So all I'm going to do is send an email to Steve or a phone call, because these people are the best people to phone call, because they specifically said, I want information. I want you for this particular event. So we always start with the email that says, "Hey Steve, thanks so much. I know you work for this financial group. You had mentioned interest in doing a retreat at your farm. Would love to set up a time to have a conversation about it." So the most important thing when you have any kind of AI verified lead is to basically just say, "Hey, hey, Gabriella, you're interested in a leadership training. Would love to talk to you more." So they said specifically what they're interested in. So now all you have to do is reach out to them via email or give them a phone call, leave a voicemail about their specific interest, right? So that's step one. Step
Okay.
two is I go to referrals and I do the exact same process, right? So like this person said, we have an annual company-wide training that I think you'd be a great fit for. I'll be sharing your information with our CEO. Great. Same email. "Hey, Jen, thanks so much for reaching out. You said that you have a company wide training that you think I'd be a great fit for, and you want to bring it to your CEO. I would love to jump on a call with you, or if you want to set up a call between me and the CEO, what's the best way to like move the ball forward?" So I'm always starting with the AI verified first on the booking and the referral, because those are the easiest ones to have a conversation with about like, what are you interested in? Okay. And again, email, phone call, those are all easy and always well received. Always well received because they say, like, this person is not going to be like, "Who the hell are you? Why are you calling me? What is this?" Like, they saw you speak, they said what, like, it's a wonderful conversation. I would do these as quick as possible,
Okay.
because there's two things that you're going to find to be true with this or the other people. Well, it's really one thing is, do they want to have a conversation now or do they want to have a conversation later? That's the most important thing you need to understand. Because, like, for example, this person said, "Hey, we have an annual company-wide training," but like, are they planning right now? Or like a lot of people might say, "Hey, we're not even touching this until August. Let's set up a time in August." So your big thing to discover with these folks is like, is this a now or a later conversation? Anyone who is a booking lead, but they didn't give you any information, right? So let's take like, I don't know, like this person here. So, they said that they were interested in booking me. But they didn't say how. I'm going to reach out to them and just verify. Like, "Hey, you said email, right? Hey, you said you were interested in booking me to speak. Just wanted to confirm if that's true. If it is, do you have a date in mind? Should we talk now? Should we talk later?" Same thing I'm trying to figure out. Is a conversation now, conversation later? Um, I take all of these people. I have a newsletter I send out once a week. I put everyone in my newsletter. So even though I'm doing these kind of calls to action emails, once a week, they're also going to get value and content from me that's non-salesy. So it's very important from my perspective to give. Like, I like to give way more than I get. But if they
Right.
express specific interest, I'm going to do this. And I'd like to send, maybe 5 touch points before I you know, put them in what we call our long-term lead list, which is basically people we reach out to once a month, once a quarter, depending upon their interest level. But I like to do like 3 to 5 touch points within 3 to 4 days of each other
Okay.
until I move on. So that's kind of a really good flow. And again, you'll have different results. People will ignore you. People will respond back and say, "No, I did it by accident." And people will say, "Yes, I'm interested." This
Okay.
is a funnel. All these people now have entered your funnel, and your job is to sift out all of the people who are not interested and get to the people who are.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome very, very much. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple of the chat questions, and then I'm gonna do Diane. So I see you, Diane. I promise I get the
Okay.
chat questions. I'm gonna get here. First question is how I know if the profile is complete. We answered that question. So basically, we have a checklist too. Well, we didn't technically answer it, but there's a checklist. And Marissa, if you could do me a favor and pull up the checklist for the profile that we have and put it in the chat. You can go through. There's a 10-step checklist to hit all 10 points. You can look at that. But if you jump on your profile, let me find one of my skeleton profiles. Hold on, for my examples. Do, do, do. Let me show you that. Hold on. Okay. Boom. Okay, so this is like one of my skeleton profiles here. So if you click on the upper right hand corner and go to profile, this is what it'll look like if you've done nothing. So it'll say like this area is click here to add photos and videos. Click here to add your tagline. Once you have enough feedback, click here to add feedback. If you need to add your location, it'll say click here to add your location, and then you can type in whatever your location is here. It'll say click here to add your social. So if you don't have any social media added. So if you go here, tell us about yourself. You know, you can click here and then type in whatever bio that you want to type in. So if you just go to the profile itself and it says add speech topic, and then you click here and then you add your speech topic. So as long as you go to the profile and just kind of start from north and go south, you'll see all the areas where you can click on and you can start doing stuff. If you can't click on an area, that means that we generate it for you, so you don't have to worry about it, but it'll populate your data. But we'll look into making that a little bit more clear for everyone. Next question. Do I put my speaker fee in to be showed to event planners? Yeah. So here, we highly encourage you to add your typical fee and then make this, so we'll put a number here. Oops, that was letters, not numbers. And then click here to hide it, click here to make it visible. We highly recommend making that visible because that's one of the big questions that people have. What we found from event planners, for anyone who gets nervous about this, and they're like, but Aurel, in reality, I might charge 10,000, but I'm also willing to accept, 5,000 or 6,000, depending upon if the mood is right, right? So I understand that, and we understand that. Event planners also understand that. What they're looking for is what's the ballpark that you're in. What all event planners have told us is that even if you are above their range, if they think they're in the zip code or the neighborhood of you, they still will reach out. So don't let that deter you, but event organizers have specifically told us they do not want to reach out to a speaker that charges $50,000 if they only have $5,000. So if you put 7,500, what we recommend is one of the things that we're hoping to do is create a little bit more ease of price for everyone. This is one of the biggest challenges event organizers and speakers have, is getting to the right pricing and agreeing on it. We want to get to the place where people are just jumping on here, seeing you and booking you. To do that, we need as much information as humanly possible that they're looking for. So even if you charge 7,500, but you're like, I'd be happy to do 4,500. Event organizers are not dumb. They know that. They can figure that out and they'll still do requests. But if they have a $4,500 budget and you put $15,000 on our site, don't think our site is going to magically figure out how to get $10,500 out of their budget. They're just going to move on to someone else. So if you are willing to accept certain fees, it behooves everyone to be a little bit more transparent. I know a lot of people are like, no, never put your fees. But think about when you do research on a coaching program or a course. Don't you want to know how much it costs before you even engage in a phone call? Don't you go online and go to forums to figure out has anyone ever bought this course before, this coaching program? How much is it? Because you want to know, if it's 30 grand and I start the convo, I want to be ready for that. So our job is for transparency. So I would put the number that feels real. Also, don't inflate your number. If you've never charged more than $5,000, don't go into Talkadot and put $26,000, right? It's not going to help you get $26,000 speaking engagements. There are other signals involved in it. Put a rate that you would be excited to get, and then let the process fill itself out. There are way too many speakers that would rather starve than charge the price that they can charge. I never understood it. People want to be ramen, ramen diet 101. I just don't get it. But all good. Okay. How can I edit my public profile? I just explained how to edit it. Do you have suggestions for those of us who are newer to Talkadot? Speak to places that don't allow Talkadot for a plan. Yeah, if you're newer to Talkadot, we're going to be releasing a new feature really, really soon, which is an event planner feedback. It's going to be really cool. And you'll be able to get feedback from people who've hired you in the past. So if you have 0 people who've hired you, go speak at your Rotary Club for free. Go speak to your Chamber of Commerce. Go speak to your local high school and start getting feedback from the audience and from event planners. If you've spoken to people in the past, send them the event planner survey, which is coming out so soon, very, very soon. And then you'll be able to start building up some data, which will be really nice. And until then, you can add pictures, videos, you can add your about section, you can add your speech topics. And if you have video, you can do all of that now until you build up. And again, one step at a time. And then I think that was the last question. Okay, Diane, what's up?
Okay, I have a few questions. One is, well, you mentioned a number, so you don't want us to put a range for fee. It's one number, is that right?
That is the goal, correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So I looked at the videos. I may have one video of 3 titles. So do you have to put the video there? Like if I have 3 speech titles, but only have one video to go with it, is that considered incomplete? Or should I just put titles and no videos?
I would put titles and no videos. So I would put the best video choice. So let's say you have a talk that's like your like signature leadership talk, but you also have like a sales talk or a team building talk, right? I would put the title and description with the video for that talk. And then I would put your titles and descriptions for the other ones without the video. Because what people will typically do is they'll look at the video of that one talk, because what they're really looking for is your vibe, your energy. What do you like on stage? How do you deliver a message? Now, in the best case scenario, here's how I deliver this message. Here's how I deliver that message. In the scenario you're in, as long as you have one video to your talk, people will be able to get a sense of it. And then they go, I like her vibe, but I like this topic. And that happened to me. Like I was using this tool and I booked a talk for a customer loyalty talk that I recently just gave, and I did not have a video for that, but they saw me, through the other videos, and that was enough for them to infer that the topic and the style matches.
So just so I'm clear, there are 3 video slots, and you're saying if you have one video, put that in with it, or don't put any videos there, put it someplace else.
Yeah, what I would say is if you have, let me go to my actual account here. So when you go to my speech topics, right? So if you scroll down here, so what Arel speaks on, or if you go to talks, it says my speech topics here, right? The my speech topics is how you add a talk. I would add all 3 of your talks, but only connect the video to the talk that it's appropriate with.
Okay.
So for example, this is my leadership talk. So this is my leadership thing. If this was my leadership talk, I would not put that video here. I would just leave that blank and just have that video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you all. I didn't realize I pinned you there, so it could be easier for me to see you. Okay,
And
here we
is
go.
this recorded?
Yes, this is recorded. Marissa and the team will get this sent out via email and in the Talkadot community as well, so you can revisit it. If you have any questions, shoot an email to hello@Talkadot. If some of you aren't aware of our community, right here is a button that says community. So like when you log into your account, it's always there. Click on community. If it's your first time clicking on it, it'll ask you to verify your identity. But then you go in here and you can post questions and we will jump in and help you. So if you have any questions, go in here and post. If you have anything very, very particular to your situation that can't be posted publicly, most questions can be posted publicly. But if it's like, oh, I have this really sensitive question, just shoot an email to hello@talkadot.com and you will get an answer from our incredible customer success and happiness team. We are here to support you. We're going to make our tool better. We're going to constantly figure out how to help every single one of you. So please, please, please continue to use the tool and to use Talkadot. It's amazing. Oh, and by the way, if anyone has not done so yet, I'll just throw this in the chat. If anyone is here, in the chat is a link to our Google reviews. If you've yet to give us a Google review and you're enjoying your experience with us and you like it, it's a 5-star experience. Please tell more people about it. We're trying to get to 250 because 250 is this like we hit 200, which was a magic number, but 250 is now like summa cum laude. So if you've not left one, tell people like, oh my gosh, this is a great tool and it's getting better and it's awesome. And it's for whatever is honest and true to you. This is how a lot of people research us. So the more times we have positive reviews, we're a review-based company, so we need reviews for us as well. It helps people authenticate who we are. So if you've not done so yet, click on that and do so. And by the way, for all of you who don't know, we are giving away a free video if you complete your profile. Does everyone, I don't know if everyone knows this here, but the last thing I'll say is if you go to your profile, see this video here, right? What makes people tick? And if we can understand what makes people tick, with the little understand them, we can understand ourselves much better. When you're between like 0 and 2. So when you see like the graphics and the sound and the volume, all that stuff, we're gonna give away 50 of these. We're gonna make 50 of these for free for y'all. Okay. So all you have to do is complete your Talkadot profile. upload all the information, and then we've partnered with a great group called speakervideos.com, and they've agreed to, we're going to randomly choose 50 of our users, and they're going to create one of those videos so that you can add that video to your profile, and then you could put it on social media and put it on your website and all that stuff. And it's really, really high quality and amazing. And that's their business. That's what they do. They create these really cool videos. So make sure to have your Talkadot profile completed. You'll automatically get entered into a chance to win. And if you don't have anything, just complete it as best as you can, and you will get an entry. And we're going to choose 50 of you, and you're going to get a cool video just for being a part of Talkadot. So shout out to speakervideos.com. Shout out to every single one of y'all.
I have one
Remember,
question before you leave.
yes, Diane.
Okay, so I just did a talk this morning. It was a freebie. Anyway, I used Talkadot. I don't see an email from you. So does that mean nobody filled out the survey? Because they're quick.
No. Did you log into your account to see it?
No, but usually I get an email,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Normally you get an email. So you should get an email automatically.
I can take a look into this and send you an email, Diane, if that's helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take a
you're
look at it,
welcome.
because I don't know. But yes, you should get an email, but you can always log into your account and go to your talk
Yeah,
site.
because often they're telling me, oh, you did really well. I haven't even seen it yet. And
Mhm.
they're, so I didn't see anything in my email box. I thought, oh, I wonder if nobody filled it out.
Well, Marissa she will find out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks,
Okay.
Melissa.
PCH,
Thanks
remember,
so
if y'all
much.
want to talk a lot, get yourself some Talkadot. I'll see y'all later.
Okay, bye-bye.